Hello, thank you for joining me. Today I wanted to talk about the idea of how to read different tatting pattern styles. There are three main categories of tatting patterns, in my opinion. The paragraph style written out, the shorter notation also written out with rings, chains, and picots with stitch counts, and then a diagram only with stitch counts. I believe a lot of people, they will find an old tatting pattern that they really enjoy and they really like and they would like to make it, but it is in a paragraph style and they don't necessarily want to read through the paragraph or it doesn't make sense, but it's really not that difficult to convert it to a written style or a diagram style as long as you understand rings and chains and how to put them together with each other. I wanted to show this particular example, one of my favorite motifs to make. That pattern is from this Anne Orr's Classic Tatting Patterns, an old book. That is on page 21. And this is the only picture that's available. Rather small. And the pattern is in paragraph style. So I have gone through and converted. I thought I would just read through and show you. The paragraph style reads, the first row is a ring of 3 double stitches, 5 picots separated by 3 double stitches, 3 double stitches, close, turn, chain of 3 double stitches, 5 picots separated by 3 double stitches, 3 double stitches, turn 7 times, join the ring by 2nd and 4th picot, tie and cut. That explanation is what this inner round, this first row, will look like. So if you don't want to read the paragraph style, this is how I notate what that means. A ring, the first row, you're going to do, and if you look at this, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rings and 7 chains. So you know you're going to have to do a ring and a chain 7 times. And each of those rings is joined to each other. So this is how I notate it. In my mind, this makes the most sense. You're going to do a ring of 3 double stitches, 5 picots separated by 3, 3, close, reverse work, chain, 3, 5 picots separated by 3 double stitches, 3. If you look at this, you have your ring here of 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picots separated by 3 double stitches, 3. You do your ring, you close that, you reverse. So you're going to be making a chain, and your chain is 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picots separated by 3 double stitches each, and the last 3 double stitches. So there's your chain. So you've got your ring, chain, and then when you make your next join, when you make your next ring, you're joining to the 4th and 2nd picots, and that's how you work around. Referring back to the picture is helpful so you know which picots that you should be joining to. But back to the notation, this is how I would write out the shorter notation of the paragraph style. Put your parentheses times 7. So you're repeating these 7 times to make your first row. To make your second row, and after you finish that, you're going to tie and cut this. You're going to finish this off. You're going to start your second row, and by looking at this pattern, obviously, since you have 7 rings and chains on the inner, you're going to have 7 sets of motifs around the outside to correspond. So just to make that easier to see, you need to make a cloverleaf chain, 1 single ring chain. That is going to be your repeat 7 times around. And your chains are going to be joined again to the 2nd and 4th picots of that previous chain. So as long as you understand the picture and what you should be doing, all you have to do then is figure out how to join the rings, where to join the chains, and then your stitch counts. So I have put together my written notation for that, starting with the clover leaf. And one note here, when you are converting a paragraph style pattern to your own notation, in my mind, you just do it the way it makes sense to you. You don't necessarily have to start where they tell you to start. So I just start with the clover leaf and do what the repeat is, so I know what my one repeat is going to be, times 7. So I started with a clover leaf, and the ring 1 for that clover leaf is 8 picot 6 picot 2. 8 picot 6 picot 2, close. Ring 2 is 2 double stitches. You join to your previous ring, 5 double stitches, 3 picots separated by 1. So there's picot 1, picot 1, picot, 3 picots separated by 1, another 5, picot 2, and that's this ring. 2, join, 5, picot 1, picot 1, picot, 5, picot 2. Your third ring of the clover leaf is 2, join to the previous ring, 6, picot 8. There's your clover leaf. You're going to reverse your work. So when you're tatting it, it's going to look like this. Reverse your work. You're going to make this chain, which is 6 join to any either the 2nd or 4th picot of the previous chain on the last row. 6 join 6. Then you're going to reverse and do the single ring here, and that's going to be 4 join 3 picot 1 picot 1 picot, 3 picot 4. And you're going to do your second chain of the motif, which is 6 join to the 2nd picot of the previous row's chain, 6. So 6 join 6, and there's your second chain. So that cloverleaf chain, single ring chain is your repeat. So you're just going to repeat that again 6 more times around, and when you get back here to the beginning, after you do this chain, when you are doing this last ring, you need to join these two rings together and do your last chain. Now, if you don't particularly care for this method, you can also do the diagram method. And I used an actual template to draw out some of my rings and started with, this is size 10 thread, so it was large enough. I just placed this over, drew a circle, and then found the center and marked out 7 approximate rings there, and then drew in my clover leaves and single rings, and then where the picots are going to be, and then added what my stitch counts are going to be. When you see a diagram notation that has picots on it but only has one number in the middle of it, that means no matter how many picots you see there, there are 3 double stitches between each picot. So this ring of the first row is 3 picot, 3 picot, 3 picot, 3 picot, 3 picot, 3. 3, 5 picots separated by 3, 3. So that's a much easier way of showing it. Then your chain is 5 picots separated by 3. And that's how I draw them. And I notated on here with different colors, the red picots are the joins. And here again, I drew this to make a pattern that makes the most sense to me. Draw the pattern however it makes sense to you. So that's the diagram form. This is the, as I said, the size 10 version of that. This is a size 20 version, and I made the chains with a variegated thread. The rings are an ecru. The variegated thread is in a hand-painted fall colorway. And the thread sizes make it a smaller motif. I hope this gives you some general idea of different ways of reading patterns, different ways of writing patterns out, converting them from books that you may find, old tatting patterns. I hope you keep practicing and have fun. Thank you for watching.